What would it mean to you if you could integrate success across all areas of your life, across all aspects? Today, I invited an incredible businessman. He's a husband, he is a father, and I am inspired by the success he has across different aspects of his life. Business-wise, health-wise, relationship-wise. This man speaks on stages across the world. So it is with a great pleasure that I get to have him here today with us. And I had the pleasure of learning with this man over a couple of occasions. I also got some mentoring from him in a session. So with that, help me welcome to the show, Mac Attram.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome, Mac. And it's great to see you again. And for those that don't know you so well, could you share a little bit about your background?
Awesome. Thank you very much. For those that don't know me, I'm an investor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business and wealth coach. I have created businesses. I've sold businesses, profitable businesses. And from, there's two sides of me, if you like, in terms of the work I do. One is that I invest heavily in real estate property. We develop and build properties. We have millions and millions of pounds worth of real estate property in London that we own. And the other side is my mission is really to help other people to improve in what they do. And so we have an education company where we educate people to improve their business, improve and increase their wealth. And in that business, for the past 18 years, I've now trained over 200,000 people in over 50 countries to improve their wealth, improve their business, and grow personally. As you said, I'm a father. I've been married to my amazing wife now for 23 years. 23 years. Our eldest daughter is 22. Our middle daughter is 18. She started university last month. And our last born is Brandon, who's 16 years of age. And you know, what else? I've won different awards for different things. I'm an author of four best-selling books, all available on Amazon. The books are around creating wealth. One's about creating a better business, and two are on mindset and really creating better results in your life.
Wow. And I love all these things you mentioned, and I hear the balance you have here as well with how much you value your family. I had the pleasure of meeting them. You value health. I know we have a black belt in Taekwondo as well.
Yes.
And so with that, success, what does that mean to you, Mac?
Oh, success. That's a great question, Joachim. I think success means to me being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want to do it, and live the life that gives you fulfillment, that the life that really brings you joy every day, not the life that keeps you stressed. You know, most people dread waking up on Monday mornings. Why? And if you're dreading going to work or doing a business you don't like, for me, that's not success. So success is having freedom to do the things that are important to you and bring you joy.
Yeah, and I can relate to that. And coming back to the moment, finding out what really makes our own soul light up, as you say, doing the things that we want to do. And there's so many people in my experience, and I've been that in the past as well. So like fearful of stepping up to the opportunity in the moment. Maybe it could be in relationships. It's like a fear of being vulnerable. It's a fear of what could happen if we really open up. Maybe it's taking that step in our career with our mission, stepping up to doing something different. That you say, many they dread waking up on Monday. What is your tips for helping people then to overcome any fear so they can step into really like embracing the life that's gonna make their life the richest?
Excellent, Joachim. Thank you. You know, what I say to people, I often say that we only have one life and this is it. And if you can you see yourself doing the same thing, unhappy, unfulfilled, until you're on your deathbed? And on your deathbed, what will be some of the biggest regrets that you have on your deathbed when you know you've only got days or weeks to live? What will be some of your biggest regrets? And many years ago, I played that through my mind many times, realizing actually I don't want to be that guy that never visited the countries I wanted to visit, never treated my family the way I wanted to, never gave my children what they could have, never experienced life in full. So for me, it's about having no regrets and waking up and saying, actually, I had this burning thing in my mind that I wanted to do, and I did it. I whether it's created a bucket list and went through that and hit that bucket list, or whether it's a profession or a job or a career or business that I wanted to start, and I did start it. And nothing in life is ever easy, but I went on that journey and to experience what that would be like. So living life on that roller coaster, sometimes is exciting, sometimes it's like, oh, what's going on? Right? But that's life. That is life.
I can resonate with what you said there as well. If you look into the future and you find yourself on the deathbed taking your last breaths, how do you want to look back at life? I can adopt that view, and I have the same, like, I believe that there is some kind of judgment day, and on that day we get to meet the person we could have become. And that makes me think of this, as you say, like, yeah, how do you want to shape your life right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you mentioned that it's not always so easy. Life is like a roller coaster, is these challenges as well. What is maybe one of the biggest challenges or obstacles that you had to overcome in order to get to where you are right now?
Great question, Joachim. When I look back on my life, one of the most challenging periods for me was many years ago. I'd started a little company, a little computer company. I had a few staff, and things became challenging when I had two business partners who joined the company, and one was going to be responsible for the sales and marketing. One took the responsibility of the operations, because he was computer network genius, Microsoft, he had all the qualifications. And what happened was both of them cheated on the business and disappeared, right? Left me in a lot of debt. So now I borrowed money on credit cards, getting loans, and now I found myself in over $100,000 worth of debt, money that I owed, that I've borrowed, I need to pay back. And it took its toll on me, because what happened, Joachim, is at that time, my wife was pregnant with our second child. And a few years had gone by where I was hardly at home because I was working hard in that business, trying to fix it because of what I'd gone through. And so I didn't see much of our first child growing up. And my health was deteriorating. I'm working 17, 18-hour days sometimes, not getting much sleep. And it was because nowadays, a lot of people talk about mental health. When I think about it, I was going through some kind of breakdown, some kind of depression. And I remember one evening driving home, 5 minutes from my home, I stopped at this car lot, this shopping center car park. And I had my hands on the wheels. I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself, sobbing, thinking, I'm such a failure. I'm such a failure. How did I get here whereby my life is not going as I would have liked? I'm heavily in debt. I am struggling. How did I get here? And in that moment, I realized, going through all of that there's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know. And Joachim, what I realize that now is this, that the mind that created my situation at the time cannot be the same mind that takes me out. And so at the time, I think a few days later, I started reading books on success and business and wealth. Within a few weeks and months, I was going to workshops and seminars. And in less than 2 years, I was able to change my situation around, eventually sold that business. And I started investing in other businesses and real estate property.
Wow. And what I'm hearing there, Mac, was being willing to be vulnerable with yourself, having the courage to look inwards. As you said in the car, and realizing this is not the life that I want and what's going on, and then making some decisions to change it around. And with everything going on, yeah, you have your family, which I know is very important to you. And I just want to say, like, when I met your family as well, it's you guys are just such an aura of love that is walking around. So that is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
So if you have time, I'd love to dig you into a little bit about that as well, how you
Sure.
cultivated that. And just now, with you mentioning, okay, you have the business, your health was deteriorating. From what I'm seeing, you've been able to turn that around as well. So relationship seems good, your health seems good, your business is doing well. You're able to help these people on your mission, which I really love. How do you create this balance in your life, or how do you ensure that balance with all these priorities?
Awesome. Great question. I don't know if there is such thing as balance, but for me, it's more about priorities. When I say priorities is every single year or every month, I will be speaking to my wife and my children, let them know, what's coming up, what we're doing. We have these open discussions. And for many years, for more than 12 years, my children already know that at times I will travel to another country to do things. And what I've been able to do over a number of years is to prioritize my time in terms of what are the big rocks, what are the big things that that are not negotiable. So my family, when there is major events or there's major vacations, that's not negotiable. So when you saw us in India, we had spent 3 weeks before that in the Caribbean. So 4 weeks just together, doing things together, right? And so lots of things don't get in the way of that. What are other big rocks? My clients, the time I'm speaking to my clients or when I'm doing investing, there's certain things that are priorities that I will take care of, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly. So I have an idea of what the year is going to look like. I have an idea of what each month is going to look like because I program things in that way. And I know where I'm taking big breaks, little breaks, whether it's with my wife or my children or my family. And if maybe that's the balance you're talking about, that the way I look at it is some days or some weeks, there is no such thing as, for me, balance. But a balance comes through the whole year. So what I mean by that, you've seen me speak at some events, and sometimes my family's not with me. Actually, when you saw me, that was the first time my family came to an event abroad, right? But let's say a few weeks ago, I was in Amsterdam teaching for 4 days. And in that week, maybe I'll see my family once or twice, and that's it, because I'm not at home, I'm in Amsterdam. But when I come home, then my priority is them. So my focus is on them, right? Doing things together, watching, go for dinner or whatever. And so I think that's how I handle it. Look at the biggest priorities for me, which are my family, my clients, the other people that is still important, and also the environment that I'm working in, who I'm working with, and also how do I run several businesses. I have good leaders within those companies who can lead, and I make sure I bring the right type of team members on who can do the right roles. So it makes my life a lot easier rather than trying to do everything.
Hmm. And you talked about non-negotiables here, and I love the integrity you have. I remember once you shared a story, you were on a vacation with your family, and if I remember right, you got an invitation to speak on a very big stage with a big man, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I remember you shared that you maybe had some kind of little internal chat with yourself. Should I do it? Because you were really looking forward to that, but do you remember that? Could you just share that? Because I think it's such a beautiful example.
Well, yeah, it's happened.
Integrity you have.
Yeah, it's happened several times. And where this is when you really get tested as to do you do what you say you're going to do? So I remember it was, in both times, one was I was in Brazil and we'd taken time out as a family, got just before we went, got an invitation to speak on the big stage with Anthony Robbins. So that's happened. And I had to turn it away. I had to say no because I'm with my family. That's the priority. Then there's been other occasions where speakers like Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and other speakers. And because I've already blocked this out for my family or for something else, I would say no to that because then I'm living the life that is in integrity and authentic for me, and not sabotaging something else because of this other thing that's come up. So I'm a man, most people know me as following through on my commitments.
And I love that because it just shows how important it is to you to stay true to that commitment, and that you're so clear about what are your priorities, what are your values, what you want to stand for. So I just love how you're a role model in that area and really demonstrating that.
Thank
So
you.
I guess that's why the story made an impact on me that I can remember, even though it's been some years ago.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And you talked about this concept of, okay, building a team around you, and you put leaders in your team as well. And I just I saw a post of you that came out that talked about communication and deal with conflicts as quickly as possible. So on your journey as well, you're helping so many students of yours, and even like with your family as well. Could you share a little bit about the importance of communication, or how do you use communication to foster these relationships?
I think a good relationship is all about communication.
Mm.
Now, for me, especially when with my family or with my kids, it's always do what you said you're going to do. And if something is on your mind, speak about it. If something is concerning you, speak about it. So in our home, we've created an environment where our kids feel free to speak and say what's going on with them, rather than creating a place of fear where they don't know if they say this, will they be supported? If they say that, will they not be supported? Who knows? But creating an environment where people can communicate, and we communicate in our family, not only verbally. It just came to my mind because every day, every morning when I wake up or my kids wake up, it is good morning. Actually, one of my eldest daughters, she doesn't say good morning, she says grand rising. But what we do is have a hug. We always hug every morning. And last thing at night, the same thing. It is not verbal. It's like we have a hug last thing at night, and that's it. We've been doing that with them since they were children, and we continue to do that now. And even they're bigger. They're still always going to be my children, but they're bigger people. And so what that says is that there is love in the house. We love you no matter what, whether you did good at school or not so good at school, whether you got this right or you got that wrong, or whether we told you off because there was something you should have done you didn't do. Either way, we still love each other. We still love. There's still love for you.
That is beautiful, Mac. And maybe or I guess that's the result I saw when I got to meet you and your family. Because as I mentioned, it's just that calmness and that peace and love and willing to like just be included and embrace people around you, like that attitude your family have that I felt. So I just found that so amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So just wanted to let you know that it pays off, and it does show out there in the world as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Before we eventually get to the end here, I'm just curious if, in order to embrace this life, as you talked about, okay, you have all your priorities, you have your mission, and if you could just take a step back to what we talked about a little bit earlier in terms of silencing the inner critic that might come up in the moment, and to hear your best tips in doing that, because with all these things we want to do, and maybe we are uncertain and we get to dabble, we have this fear. How can one like crush that inner critic if we have some urge to do something, but so overcoming the hesitancy, but actually following through, as you are really good at? How do you like crush that fearful inner critic that might come up?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How do you deal with that? I think in my head, automatically, there are three things. One is you have to become self-aware of what is getting in your way. What is that fear? And for some people, the fear approaches, but it looks like procrastination, or they fall in a place of paralysis, or they fall in a place of complaining or making excuses. So you've got to become aware. What are your behaviors? And to become self-aware, you've got to, some people, they sit every day watching TV, Netflix, or whatever. They have no dreams, no goals, no aspirations. But the moment you say, I'm striving for this goal, I have this dream, guess what? Now, are your behaviors in line with that goal? Right? So let's say someone says, I want to lose 20 kilograms because I'm overweight. They thinking, I want to lose 20 kilograms in the next 7 months. So that's the goal you've set. Now, what are the habits that you need to now employ and have in order to be that in 7 months' time? And you have to have that self-awareness that says, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to drink plenty of water, I'm going to eat nutritionally well, and I'm going to continue doing that every single day. In 7 months, I'll see that result. And you've got to have that concept of the Olympic gold medalist. I want to win the Olympic gold, and I've got 4 years to train and get ready. What are you going to do? Are your habits congruent with that? And if the weight loss thing, if your habits are you keep eating junk food and you're not exercising, there is no way you're going to get there. So the answer to that is, number one, self-awareness, so you can do the right thing. Two, be in the right environment. If you're in the right environment with the right people who are also striving for the same thing, naturally you think, oh, right, they're trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to do it. All right, we support each other. So environment is key. And the third thing is this: if you don't have the discipline to follow through on your commitments, on your goal, then get some support. Get a mentor, get a coach who will support you and help you to achieve that goal. Because most people, believe it or not, are not disciplined enough to follow through. And so for me, that was the biggest change in my life, where once I realized that, I've always had a coach or coaches around me helping me to achieve what I want to achieve. Because one of the biggest successes I've had was, okay, I've been training in martial arts for over 40 years, right? I'm in my 50s now, and I started when I was 13. And I've done many styles, different trainings and styles. But for the last 23 or 24 years, I've been studying with one master, Grandmaster Trevor Nichols, studying Taekwondo. With his support, I became UK champion in Taekwondo. I'm a 6th Dan black belt in Taekwondo, because it's about having the right support, the right instruction to follow through. And same as in business, same as in wealth, same as in relationships. If you can't figure it out yourself, get that support and be in the right environment, become self-aware and move forward.
What I'm hearing, Mac, is yeah, it's best to do as the coach says, especially if we are hiring you. Otherwise, why get our ass beaten?
Yeah, absolutely. Some people, need a stick in order to move forward. Some people just need a carrot. So whatever works for you, whatever works for you.
And with that, like whatever works for you, because you're shuffling many hats. You talked a little bit about, okay, you block the time in your calendar. You're really clear in advance how you want to prioritize your time. And how do you shuffle these different roles, like switching between the hats, father, husband, businessman, mentor, coach, speaker? How do you make sure that you kind of, turn into these different roles as you fill out your day throughout the week?
Well, I block out time in my schedule to make that happen. So if I block out this time, it's maybe because I'm doing some investing. If I block out this time, it's maybe because I'm with my family. If I block out this time, maybe it's a dinner date. So I look at my week, and actually, my month is already blocked out. And then within the week, there are things blocked out for all the important things in my life, all the important things, including my health, including working out, including spending time with my wife, including spending time with my children. It's all blocked out. And I found if I don't block it out, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I can relate to that. It has to be in the schedule. Then it's a reality. That's how I get to make sure things happen as well.
Exactly.
Hey, Mac, I really appreciate the time here. And before we wrap this up, maybe you have some final comments. And my final question to you is if people want to continue learning with you, how can they follow you or how can they get in touch with you?
I think the best thing is you can go to my website, www.macattram.com, or follow me on Instagram. I give lots of freebies, lots of information about life and about business and about work and about behavior. And just reach out to me if there's a particular area of your life that is not working and you need help and support to fix that. Maybe it is your career. Maybe you're not sure of what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe it's a business that you want to start, you haven't started yet. Maybe it's a business you have, you want to grow. Just reach out to me and I'll see how best we can help you to get you on the path that you want to be on.
Love that. So make sure you check out Mac and see him out because you really inspire me. And I'm so I just feel so grateful that you've been sharing your knowledge and that you stepped up and sharing your story here as well with us. Just knowing that things can turn around when we decide that it's gonna be possible. When we look at how we want to shape our life, looking at okay, if I put myself, whether it's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ahead, what am I going to look back at? So thanks for sharing all your wisdom today, Mac. Really appreciate that you took the time coming on. And with that, just, make the rest of your day.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.